Welcome back to California Speedway, 2-mile oval. Nearly a copy of Michigan International Speedway, but for the little bit lesser banking here.
Pert near the same.
And we'll roll through the Q Motor Oil starting grid for you once again. As the cars move around behind the pace vehicles to set their tachometers to pit road speed. We'll be riding along with Kenny Wallace today, the AutoZone number 22 Ford. Kyle Busch in the number 5 Lowe's Chevrolet. Clint Boyer, the AC Delco Chevy, runner-up to the championship last year. Number 20 Denny Hamlin in the Rockwell Automation Chevrolet.
That's his water bottle tube sticking up there. You can reach over and get him a drink of Gatorade or whatever he might want.
Makes it a little complicated with those full face helmets.
And Brian Vickers in the Mountain Dew number 57 Chevrolet.
57 Chevrolet.
Well,
I had one of those.
Not like you used to drive.
Oh, that's
number 57.
Oh, I was going to say he's at a real disadvantage.
And Michael Waltrip in the Aaron's Dream Machine, which is a Dodge this season, still carrying 99.
I would tell you he's warming up his tires, but his car might just be that evil. I don't know.
Under the pace lap.
Under the pace lap. Not just kidding.
Thumbs up. 1 lap to go.
Cully Bear will be calling up here saying, hey, it's my car.
My car drives good.
Yeah, my car drives good. That's Michael's crew chief. And a darn good one, I might add.
Behind the Chevy Pace vehicle, we're 1 lap from going green. I love this pit board sign. It's Kyle from South Park, those of you that watched that cartoon. And it's got his Lowe's uniform on, and Kyle Busch has no trouble finding his pit board sign.
Might want to even ignore it.
He's got to have a sense of humor. Today we'll go 300 miles. That's 150 laps around this track.
Pit road speed 55 miles per hour. You heard Dick Berggren talking about strategy, that pit window 45 to 50 laps, which means if we get those long green runs, someone may try to do this race on 2 stops.
Bet you they do.
Now that's a neat one. That's kind of different. That's the onion for Todd Bodine? Is it really?
I think it might be.
Another brief team meeting, and we're ready to race.
Well, these guys know that this race takes on a Carl Edwards' crew.
Many in the garage area, both Busch and Cup, have said the real season starts here. We're away from restrictor plate racing and aerodynamic packages at Daytona. This is the real season right here.
Well, this is what we do the most of. So the 4 races that are restricted, but then you've got the 32 others that are not. So this is where you really have to have your act together. And speaking of having your act together,
no bump drafting, no drafting partners. DW, I've been waiting 8.5 months. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Coming to the green. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Yeehaw.
And the Stater Brothers 300 is underway.
Newman, the 39 car, got a run off the top there.
And Carl Edwards slid up and got into the wall.
Yeah, he did. Break the back end. I don't think it hurt the car, but he sure did. Lucky.
Wow, is this the first lap? Looks like the last lap at Daytona.
They've got Carl Edwards trapped on the outside right now. He's going to fall all the way back to about 6th or 7th.
I think he's just trying to find some relief.
He just got loose underneath Ryan Newman in the 39 car.
You know what?
Didn't hit the wall.
Never touched it.
Hard to believe. But right, no contact. What a save, though.
Well, we heard him on his qualifying run, talking to his crew coming off of turn 2. He was loose then. I don't guess they did much to it.
And Darrell, I think that was probably a product of 2 things: low air pressure plus the position he was in underneath Ryan Newman in the 39.
Yeah, he got sucked around.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Carl Edwards has just said a couple of words on the radio. Real loose.
Well, that's the consequence of the impound procedure. You qualify, you're not allowed to do hardly anything to the car after that except line it up to race.
Well, and quite honestly, that's what the guys try to do. They want them free because they know they're going to tighten up in the race.
Now we're looking at the battle up there for 8 side by side. Jay Sauter in the 01 car, Kenny Wallace in the 22 car. Jay Sauter was the only Chevrolet that qualified in the top 10 in the 01. See John Andretti there in the 10 car.
Trouble, turn 4.
The 4 cars around.
Mark Green, hard impact, and the caution is out here on lap 3.
That car made almost a full 360 before going head-on into the wall.
Coming off of a top 10 finish at Daytona last week. Elliott Sadler in the 90 car, a lot of damage.
Boy, I'll say. See what happened here. Here's the 4 car. The old Dream Machine's going to be right here looking at it. Gets in there, gets loose, bounces off of the
Joel Kaufman
up there, and then he must come around and get Elliott Sadler when he's going by.
The car walked up the racetrack down in the middle of turn 3 and 4, Mark Green in the 4.
We're seeing these guys, Larry, when they get under someone, that seems like it's when they have trouble. Oh, yeah, he's around early back there.
Nowhere for Elliott Sadler to go. He was all the way down on the apron in the 90.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, because that was right in the middle of a big pack of cars.
Exactly. You could just almost bet, Larry, with as loose as these cars are to start this race and running side by side the way they were, something was going to give.
And Regan Smith did a great job to just narrowly miss Mark Green as Green bounced off that turn 4 wall. The caution out quickly here at lap 4 in Fontana.
Well, it didn't take long to get our first yellow here tonight from the Stater Brothers 300 NASCAR Busch Series race from the California Speedway in Fontana. Mark Green brought out that first caution. His car got wicked loose, and unfortunately for the number 90, Elliott Sadler, he had nowhere to go, so he got caught up in that mess as well. Our early race leader, as we have seen, is Ryan Newman. Our pole sitter, Carl Edwards, had kind of a rough beginning there. He didn't get it in the wall, but the car apparently is extremely loose as we see the safety crew coming out to inspect the racetrack and probably pick up a few. There he goes. He's going to pick up some debris. Anyway, Ryan Newman is leading in that Penske Dodge. He's got Greg Biffle in the Jack Roush Racing Ford right behind him. Jamie McMurray in Rusty Wallace's 64 Dodge is running 3rd, with Matt Kenseth, Mr. Fontana himself, running 4th. As they were saying, this really is the track for a driver like Matt Kenseth, who's super smooth. He conserves his car, has it always there at the end, and usually finds himself way up at the top, if not in victory lane, at least in the top 5. Let's see, Casey Mears in a Dodge as well. He's running 5th. Carl Edwards 6th, with David Green. Good to see David Green, a former champion in NASCAR Busch Racing and one of our most loyal viewers of Motors TV, his favorite driver. We all know who that is if we're on the internet at motorstv.com. He's doing a fine job. David Green in 6th place with Edwards behind. Jay Sauter and Kenny Wallace and Kyle Busch rounds out the top 10. So it's pretty much a Dodge Ford, Dodge Ford, Dodge Ford, Dodge Ford, Ford Chevrolet situation here as we are working early days here in the 300-mile race from Fontana. We're working only lap 6 of this 300-miler. What else can we say? NASCAR's first road racing event of the year, the Textel Motorola 200 from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, Mexico City circuit, will be on Motors TV. Not live, unfortunately, but it will be on Motors TV the Monday following, March 7th in the evening. I think about around 10 p.m. But anyway, we're going to have a lot more things to talk about as the race goes on. We're going to send you back to Larry Mack, DW, and the rest of the Fox crew. Enjoy the race.
The last 2 run under caution, which came out on working lap 4, and Ryan Newman leading Greg Biffle. There's Elliott Sadler's car on pit road.
Yeah, I think it's just this is another product of the impound procedure. Cars starting a race that are just evil, hard to handle.
Now watch Kyle Busch. He was running a pretty good distance ahead of Mark Green, but what happens up here?
Looks like he just gets to pushing out, and scrapes up against the wall. Second time this weekend he's done that in that very car.
10 still trying to get back in there. 2, you're clear. Smoke is behind you.
You could hear him squeeze up out of the throttle.
You're with Michael Waltrip, and here it all unfolds.
4 got the hop, and Mark Green walked up the racetrack into the 12 of Joel Kaufman.
Tried to stay off the 12 and corrected it too much. And then here goes Elliott Sadler trying to squeeze by on the inside. Quite a bit more damage. I believe Elliott's car might be a lot worse than I thought it was. That's pretty hard lift.
But you're right, Mike. Regan Smith in the 35 just made it by.
So Sadler's made his way to pit road. Here's Dick.
Well, Darrell, the jury is still out as to the difficulty that Sadler is about to face. The crewmen who have been over the wall working on the right front corner of the car have come back to say it's not that bad. Sadler's version, however, is that the steering is all messed up. Right now, the crew is preparing a new piece for the right front fender at the speeds we run here at the California Speedway. Aero is very important, and they're hoping to replace this right front fender corner on one of these pit stops. Right now, it's a tape job.
Well, Dick, the reason his steering is off, it hit that right front tire very hard, and they set the distance between the front of the front tires and the rear of the front tires at a certain amount. It's knocked the toe out off, I'm sure, and that's the reason his steering wheel is off when he goes down the straightaway.
Another car that's damaged is Reed Sorensen. The right side of his car, you see, right behind the front wheel, picked up some damage on this.
Quite a bit of damage on that car. Sort of a chain reaction. People just kind of bouncing off each other. They're all running so close together.
Now Sorensen did not pit. You're up on the spotter's stand as they watch the flagman and their driver. Green, green, green.
And we're back to it. Single file restart. No passing till you get to the start finish line, and all passing to the right.
Darrell, I think the reason Ryan Newman worked so hard at the start of this race in that 39 car to get that car out front, you know how important having your car in clean air can be. Right now, though, he's got his hands full with Greg Biffle in this 16 car.
To no surprise, Biffle makes an early run at the lead. Works under Newman to turn 3.
Newman's going to fight back on the outside, and he's going to have a pretty good little bit of momentum coming off this corner, but Biffle's got the line down low.
Boy, Greg Biffle in the 16 had such a good bite off the corner on the bottom.
That's a great passing place if you can keep it down. Don't push up into the guy on the outside of it.
Kevin Harvick in the 33 car, riding with Clint Boyer. This group is battling for 18th right now.
Harvick had a good restart, but then the car just didn't seem to reach terminal velocity, and now Boyer's got the advantage of it.
Now Kevin Harvick is running the full schedule, but this is his own car that he owns, the 33 car.
That car was pretty evil when he was qualifying, so see what he's got it got it changed around here for the race.
Todd Cleaver just ahead of him, the 06, the rookie up from out of the Truck Series for Jack Roush, and now they go to work on Jeff Burton in the 21.
They can adjust air pressure, adjust the track bar, and I'm not sure if there's any wedge adjustments you can make.
Slight wedge adjustment. I mean, look at these guys. I mean, we're on lap 9, and they're already 3 wide through the corner.
But if you're back in the pack, you get a little draft here. These cars run fast enough, straightaways are long enough. You get a little draft. You can pass a lot of cars right now while you got them all bunched up.
Let's move up to second place, where Newman is under fire from Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, McMurray in the 64, he caught Ryan Newman in the 39 pretty quick, but he couldn't go anywhere once he got there. Now he looks like he's having a hard time holding the 64 car down behind Newman.
That's part of that aero problem you have, you know. I won't call it aero push. I just call it lack of air on the nose. Got to get that nose out. See how he's got the end, got it looking underneath of Ryan. Just get a little air on it, plant those front tires. course, that's a Dodge, and we've said over and over again, I mean, a Dodge in the Busch Series, the Dodge Charger seems to work very well, but aero problems on the front of that car is something they've all fought.
They are losing ground to race leader Greg Biffle. You can see Biffle in the red car has distanced himself by 1.2 seconds.
Yes, AmeriQuest has got a little giddy up to it, I can tell you that.
Matt Kenseth trying to close on the second place battle. Here's a good scuffle here as Stacy Compton trying to hold off Todd Cleaver. Looking back from Clint Boyer at those two, Cleaver passes Compton and takes over 16th.
That's Scott Wimmer in the 66 car this week. Kenny Schrader drove it last week. Wimmer in it this week.
Now you're riding with Brian Vickers. He pulls up on Compton. This is for 18th.
So one thing I love about this racetrack, you can move the race car around depending on what your car is driving like. You run at the bottom, you run in the middle of the racetrack, and it won't be long. They'll probably be up at the top of the racetrack.
Yeah, particularly in turns 3 and 4, you seem to be able to widen the groove out quite a bit. The bottom of the racetrack seems to be the best around 1 and 2, but 3 and 4, you're going to see them way high before too long.
You know, a car that has had a rough start to this season, David Green in his 27 car, wrecked 2 cars at Daytona. He wrecked in practice yesterday. 3 cars, and he made it to the second race. But this backup car qualified 9th. He has now moved up to the 7th position. Now we got a battle for second.
Yeah, got McMurray looking under Ryan Newman here, going down in turn 3. Ryan, I was going to say Ryan will probably drive it in pretty hard on the outside here. That makes it very difficult for the guy on the inside to make the pass.
Matt, is Newman's car okay?
Well, he's got a balance issue, Mike. Now down in 3 and 4, the car is just way too free. But as he heads down the straightaway trying to hold off the 64, when he goes down into 1, the car picks up a push and gets even tighter up off turn 2. And the guy who's yarding everybody, the 16 of Biffle, his car is just a tick on the free side. But you can see it is really motoring away.
See, I like the line now that you saw that Newman moved up a little bit down here in 1 and 2. If he's a little tight off of turn 2, a little higher line will help him.
And Jeff, the thing about it, you know, the car, if you can keep that thing a little free, not loose, that means you can keep moving forward at a fast pace. It's when that thing picks up that push is when it breaks your momentum up on the straightaway.
Larry, you know, as a crew chief, this is a momentum racetrack, and that's what Ryan Newman was able to do, is keep his momentum going. His car is not quite right. You see him drive it off in the corner right there, really deep, up high, let the car roll through the center. Now he can pick the throttle up. Jamie McMurray is down to the bottom. He's already back to the throttle. Now it becomes a drag race down the back straightaway between these two Mopars.
And Jamie wanted so badly to squeeze over in front of Ryan, but he knew better.
But while these guys are battling like this, Greg Biffle has pulled out to over a 2-second lead, leading the race. Which
of these two drivers, though, is using up their stuff?
Well, McMurray's working pretty hard down low like that, trying to get by Ryan. So I'm going to say Ryan moving up is going to help him, and Jamie hanging on the bottom is going to hurt him.
Second place at stake here. About 2.3 seconds behind Greg Biffle, and still about 1.2 seconds ahead of Matt Kenseth in 4th.
But while these guys are doing this type of racing, trust me, that 17 car, Matt Kenseth, will get bigger and bigger in their rearview mirror.
Now, for a few laps, you kind of say this is fun. Then after a while, you get kind of aggravated. And then you start losing your cool here. And Jamie won so badly, he made it that time. To slide up in front of Ryan, now he'll drive off and leave him.
Trying to close in, Kenseth in 4th, Edwards in 5th, Casey Mears, David Green, Jay Sauter, and Denny Hamlin.
Well, after 18 laps of 150, Greg Biffle's worked his way up to about a 2.5-second lead over Jamie McMurray and Ryan Newman as those two Dodge Chargers were battling one another. The Ford of Greg Biffle pretty much drove away, and as Darrell Waltrip said, that Ford of Matt Kenseth is going to get larger and larger in the rearview mirrors of those two Dodge drivers as they battle each other. This will definitely, and we have somebody getting it all crazy loose coming out of turn 4. It looked like it was a 64 car, in fact, of Jamie McMurray, our second place runner here today at the Stater Brothers 300. It just put up a big cloud of smoke as he got a major sideways coming out of turn 4, and of course we will be going to a yellow flag situation. So a little bit of live action that the American crowd didn't see, but here at Motors TV, we brought it all to you as Jamie McMurray's Dodge went for a wild slide coming out of turn 4. So when we come back out of commercial break for the U.S. broadcasters, I'm sure Larry McReynolds, Mike Joy, and Darrell Waltrip will give us all the insight as to what exactly happened. Maybe we'll get a replay before the Americans do, actually, a little bit of bonus coverage here in the UK and throughout Europe. So as we work lap 19, we're under yellow. Greg Biffle still leads. Matt Kenseth looks like he is definitely, he's up to third. Jimmy McMurray obviously will fall way, way down, and it'll be interesting to see if anybody comes in for a very early pit stop today. Tires could be an issue. As they were saying in the pre-race, this could be only a 2-stop race, so lap 19 out of 150 could be a tick early for some, but for some others, maybe it's the opportunity to get their cars working right. Guys like Carl Edwards, who were complaining about being really, really loose at the start of the race, perhaps he'll come in and tighten it up. As unfortunately, we've lost our signal. But anyway, we can give you a quick rundown of the top 10 while we have a chance. Greg Biffle leads, as we said, ahead of Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth. Don't know where exactly Jimmy McMurray's going to find himself, but Carl Edwards moves back up. Casey Mears, J.J. Yeley's doing a fine job. He's up to 7th. David Green's in 8th. Denny Hamlin, who had such a great race at Daytona, winning the Bud Shootout, obviously, in Nextel. Did a fine performance in the season opener of the NASCAR Busch Series. Denny's running 9th, and Jay Sauter rounds out the top 10. Actually, Denny's moved up to 7th, John Andretti 8th, Clint Boyer 9th, and Kyle Busch is 10th. So in just a few seconds, we're going to send you back to the guys at Fox Sports, and they're going to tell you all about Jamie McMurray's little escapade as he's coming out of turn 4. Anyway, we're going to send you back over to the States, so keep enjoying the race and drop us a line on the internet.
Jamie McMurray's drive developed a hook, and that has put us under caution here at California Speedway. McMurray running second. Watch him come through turn 4.
Kept it in play, though.
Yes. Kept his ball inbounds.
Yes, he did. He can find it, and he's going to be able to continue on.
And he only lost 2 positions, kept it off the wall. You'll see how close he came here. But only Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth got by him.
Bad drive, good putt.
Nobody else could see to get by him in that tire smoke.
Foggy. Smoggy.
The California drivers would find this easy to drive through. But
now pit road is going to be very busy, boys. Here about 19 laps into this race. Steve Burns.
Well, Larry Mack, listening to Jamie McMurray on the radio, he said it felt like a flat tire, but he didn't think that it was. He said he just got loose, although he does think that he flat spotted one when he spun out. McMurray pits. They'll go to the right side of the car. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth, they're going to make a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. Matt.
The top 2 cars are scoring on the bottom of your screen. The 39 of Newman. Now his biggest issue, you see they're making a chassis adjustment, is dirty air and tight. The car gets really tight in dirty air. He says, I don't mind the loose. Meanwhile, the 16 of Biffle, a little bit of trouble on the left rear. He's down and away. Track bar adjustment to try to free him up, Dick.
Pole winner Carl Edwards has called for 2 separate chassis adjustments on his car. He is going to be beaten out of pit road by 3 other cars.
Newman out first, Kenseth second, Biffle third. Now, if you bring out the yellow flag, don't you have to go to the tail end of the field? Well, yes, but you're able to maintain speed when the yellow comes out. You blend in where you're running, and that's why Jamie McMurray only lost 2 positions. He was able to blend in, didn't have to go all the way to the tail end of the line. He kept up his speed.
Like you said, though, I think that smoke was his best friend.
I think it was. Chris?
Mike, 20 laps in already, a lot of excitement. 3 of the top 4 starters, Roush cars, that's the way they stand. And from the very start, Carl Edwards, the pole sitter, just missing the wall. He was all right. He slid down a little bit. Turn 4 here. Mark Green in the 4 cars, some contact. Off the wall, and Elliott Sadler in the 90 cars to go down on the apron. Brings out the caution flag. Greg Biffle setting the pace and moving in front to take the lead. Since his last Busch win, he has had 7 straight second-place finishes. And while that was going on moments ago, Jamie McMurray battling for second at the time in the 64 car. You just heard the report from Steve Burns. Thought maybe he had a flat. Spins, misses the wall, and once the smoke clears, slips to 4th in the race off pit road. Jeff Hammond.
Yeah, race off pit road. You see Ryan Newman followed by Matt Kenseth, then Greg Biffle, and there's Carl Edwards in the 60 car.
And Biffle has led 11 laps so far. Mike?
But we also just got a report that the 17 car, Matt Kenseth, had too many guys over the wall before the car got to pit stall, so they're putting him in the back of the pit right now. He has to go to the very back, tail end along the line. Take a look at it right as he comes down pit road. You can't go over the wall until the car is 1 pit away, and then all of a sudden you look at the guys are already over the wall before he got in there.
And what's the restriction of number of guys that can be over the wall?
7 guys.
Violation on Matt Kenseth, one of the Roush cars. Mike?
How about Jamie McMurray? Brings out the caution, ends up running 5th after pit stops. Wow. Time for a little Q Motor Oil trivia. Who were the only rookie candidates to win a Busch race in California? We've had, what, 11 of them? 11 Busch races here.
Well,
I think Biffle may have been one of them.
Wasn't Harry Gant, because that'd be.
Oh gosh, no. Or Mark Martin.
Yeah.
Scott Riggs and Carl Edwards.
Okay. But I'm going to tell you what, to follow up on that Matt Kenseth deal, that could be a mistake that he could take this whole race to recover from that.
Oh, it will, definitely.
Here are the rookies in this race. Note John Andretti is listed as a rookie. He has never driven a full season in the Busch Series, so he is eligible for those awards.
He used to hold the rookie meetings for Nextel Cup rookies.
Different series, different day. We're back under green. Ryan Newman leading Greg Biffle. Biff is on the charge at turn 2.
Biffle is really stout at Papa 2 over there, and that looks to be like Achilles heel for the 12 car Ryan Newman.
Who today is the 39, but we'll get to that tomorrow.
39.
It's okay.
It's the same color though.
But that's the same place he got by him earlier in the race before that caution. Coming off turn 2 down low. And the car just gets such a good bite low off of turn 4, but Newman's going to fight back in the 39 with those fresher tires.
You got to like Newman. He's not just saying, oh, you go ahead, lead for a while. He's going to take it to him.
But Carl Edwards in that 60 car, he'll love it if these guys keep going side by side. But it looks like Greg Biffle in the 16 will prevail, but Newman's not going to give up.
But see, how he made that pass, how Biffle made that pass, he forced Ryan Newman high going into 1 and cost him some momentum.
Let's go to pit road. Dick Berger.
Well, Carl Edwards' crew, Mike, is concerned that they may have gone the wrong way with the track wire adjustment on that last pit stop. But thanks to the modern miracles of electronics, they replayed their pit stop and concluded they had gone in the right direction. But just look at how fast he is on the racetrack, and you can tell for sure he did it the right way. Steve.
Dick, J.J. Yaley started in the 18th position in that number 18 car. Early on, he said that his car felt very comfortable, very stable. They pitted on when the caution came out there for Jamie McMurray, made a very, very small chassis adjustment, a quarter turn in the left rear. It was just a little bit tight, he said.
And he's one of those drivers that's going to do both full schedules. Had a great run at Daytona, sat on the Busch pole, finished in the 8th, and here he is from 18th to 4th at lap 24 of this race.
Quite a run for the ex-sprint car and midget racer from Phoenix.
He's mowing them down.
A lot of 2 and 3 wide racing mid-pack on back. As you see here, fellows who made pit stops trying to climb back up through after long stops for adjustments.
Tell you what, Carl Edwards in that 60 car with Greg Biffle driving away from Ryan Newman in the 39. He has finally caught Ryan. Now he's working on that 39 car.
Well, if you look at the lap speeds, Greg Biffle in the 16, 40.28. Newman's at a 40.74. Then you got Edwards at a 40.29. So they're much faster than Newman.
And Carl Edwards in the 60, J.J. Yaley in the 18 running 3rd and 4th. They just ran their fastest laps of the race by our scoring monitor.
Let's get an update on Newman from Matt.
Now, conversation, Mike, before the pit stop. Newman said, I can handle the loose off 4, but you really have to fix the tight off 2. They have tried working on that, but he just clicked on the radio and said it is just way too loose at this moment.
And I think Greg Biffle, that's where he has found the weakness with Ryan Newman, being tight off 2. And of course, when you're loose, the rear wheels aren't gripping, and it makes it hard to drive these race cars running almost 180 miles per hour. The rear's wanting to come around.
Well, loose is when you're having to turn back to the right a little bit. Now that wouldn't be all that bad a deal if you wasn't trying to go to the left all the time. But here, when you got to turn back to the right a little bit, the only way you can control that is with the throttle. So you got to roll out the throttle just a little bit.
We're riding with Kyle Busch, John Andretti alongside, and Michael Waltrip just ahead. That's at 17th position.
Until you get the groove widened out off of turn 2 over there, where you can get a higher exit off of that corner, that's a tough corner to navigate.
Kenny Wallace on the outside of 25, Ashton Lewis Jr. And that's at 20th place.
And O'Kenseth is roaring back through the field.
After serving a penalty for his pit crew going over the wall too soon on that first stop.
Now Carl Edwards in the 60 got a good run off turn 2. He pulls up beside Ryan Newman in the 39. This is the battle, no longer to be a battle for second place.
As they run side by side, Yaley, that's the best thing he could see out his windshield, is 2 cars side by side in front. But
the fastest lap that time was run by Yaley, so he's coming.
Jeff Burton, the Coast Guard 21, on the way to save the day. Matt?
Mike, he is motoring towards the front now. He said the car was too loose, but as the laps were winding on, the car was just getting better and better. They made a slight track bar adjustment, but you heard Carl Edwards talk at the beginning of our show. Didn't really know what to expect with today. That's what a lot of drivers said, because the temperature swing has been so drastic today. And Darrell, when you had that great run here in the 1 car for DEI back in '98, is this track one of those big temperature, weather-sensitive type places?
Oh, I guarantee it will be. And the cooler it gets, the faster they're going to run. But I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest movers, Reed Sorensen in the 41 car, started in 35th. He hit the wall at one point. He has almost worked his way back to the top 10, back in 11th position. There you see Reed Sorensen right there in the 41 car. It just seems like these guys that are running Nextel Cup, their confidence level is up so high right now because the owners had the confidence to put them in a full-time Nextel Cup ride.
And that includes these 2, Clint Boyer and Reed Sorensen, in that group. Boyer in 10th, Sorensen 11th. There are your leaders after 31 laps. Kyle Busch has a handful behind the wheel of that Lowe's Chevrolet. He's running in 16th position. Just made a big save of that car and is trying to hold on to a top 20 spot here. Watch this.
That's one of these, hey, watch this. That's what happened. Whoa, baby. That is some quick hands right there.
How big is that left rear rubber? Blew in there. I got to have it out, but I got to have something to tighten it back up a little bit. When I step on the gas, especially down in 3 and 4, just picks the nose up and moves it to the right. So I think that's part of that problem.
What he wants to do is he wants to take that rubber out. He will more than likely want to add some wedge. Once you take that rubber out, it's going to soften that spring. You're going to add wedge back to keep the car tight. Here's what he's talking about. We're going to pull the rubber out. That's going to soften the spring. Now we're talking on the left rear, so in order to get back what he wants, they'll add a couple of rounds of bite to compensate for that.
But what he wanted to know, Dick Berggren, is how big that piece of rubber is. That way he knows how much of a stiffening that left rear spring.
Well, they made so many changes to that car on their pit stop, Larry. They changed the track bar wedge. That rubber went in. They also changed air pressure. He had been suffering from a car that was extremely tight, and they just threw the kitchen sink at it trying to fix it. So maybe that rubber has to go, and they'll be dialed in.
But he pretty much, like you said, Darrell, he knows if they pull that out, he's going to need something to bring it back just a little bit.
Yeah, there's a combination of things you do. Depends on where you're loose and what you need. Take the rubber out, car's going to turn better, but I need to put some bite in it so I can get forward bite up off the corner.
Leader Greg Biffle in red. Carl Edwards, his teammate, in black. They are 2.7 seconds up on Ryan Newman, the third place car.
And that's a crew chief's delight. A driver that can help him decide what needs to be done to the car, rather than saying, I'm loose, do something.
I was pretty impressed that Kyle Busch was wanting to know, well, just how big is the piece of rubber in the left rear?
Exactly.
The response was, it's a blue one. Explain that.
They make different styles. You know, they make different size. They make different hardness of rubbers that puts different rate into the spring.
Matt Kenseth, after serving that penalty, has flown through the field, just going past David Green to take over 15th place.
And for our viewers that just joined us, he was running up in the top 5 on the last pit stop. His crew went over the wall too early. The penalty was started to tail in the longest line, which at that point was almost back about 40th. Now he's up to the top 15 now.
He's been getting about 1 a lap ever since we went back to green.
Close call there as the one went to the bottom of the racetrack. Jason Keller.
Now this
Jeremy Mayfield in the middle. Kenny Wallace up high.
This is when you play chicken. You go down into turn 1, 3 wide, and you say, okay, who's going to lift? Because you know somebody's got to lift. You want to be the last one to do it.
You hope somebody's going to lift.
Yeah.
Now this group right here is about a half a lap down to our leader, Greg Biffle, battling back there about for 24th position. That group there is Bernie Lamar in the 77 car, finished second at Daytona, driving for Kevin Harvick. Talked about Bernie Lamar in our pre-race show with Chris Myers and Jeff Hammond.
And let's get an update on the right side damage to Reed Sorensen's car that he did not pit to repair. Steve?
You know what, Mike, his biggest comment early in this race was he just didn't have any grip. They made an air pressure adjustment on lap 20. He said the car came alive. Brian Patty's been counting out lap times too. He's going all the way from 35th up into the 10th position.
But you know, guys, the damage he has, it's behind the right front tire. I just don't believe that's really affecting that race car. The right front fender in front of the tire is in good shape.
It's actually helping it. It's letting the air out from behind that rear front tire, and it's probably making the car actually run better.
Working past the 1 of Jason Keller, who now comes back to battle the 9 of Mayfield, 3 wide with Lamar, the rookie in the 77, looking in and about to have some company from behind as well with Johnny Sauter.
He's watching these 3 veterans, and he's saying, should I be doing that? And
answer?
And his spotter's saying, no, you shouldn't be.
Right. Oh, here he goes.
Well, he's
going to try to shoot the middle.
These guys are holding me up.
And he's going to make it.
Boy, Paul Menard back there, I was just looking at him back there in that 11 car, that bright yellow car behind this group. He was sideways off turn 4 that last lap.
So Lamar passes this whole group of cars. Pretty impressive, Steve.
Yeah, he likes his race car, Mike. It's just a tick on the free side. He said he is really good coming off of turn 4.
Pretty darn good off of turn 2.
Tell you what, Jeff Burton in his 21 car, he's had one of the faster cars. He just drives by Ryan Newman in the 39 and take the 3rd position away from Newman.
Ford, Chevy, Dodge in the first 4 spots as we come around to complete 44 laps in the Stater Brothers 300. Biffle and Edwards for Jack Roush, then Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, J.J. Yaley.
Well, as we work lap 44, riding along with Clint Boyer in the number 2 Chevrolet DC Delco car. Early days here at Fontana, and it looks like it's going to be a veterans race. Certainly, the Roush team is looking strong today with Greg Biffle leading from teammate Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards, our pole winner, is about a half a second behind stablemate Greg Biffle, with Ryan Newman running third, and former Roush driver, now a Hendrick driver, and a Kevin Harvick driver on Saturdays. Jeff Burton has moved himself up into fourth place, the highest place Chevrolet, just ahead of J.J. Yeley. Early strong runner who had a bit of a spin during one of our commercial breaks. Jamie McMurray's worked his way back up to sixth. He's got Denny Hamlin in tow with Kevin Harvick, Brian Vickers, Reed Sorensen rounding out the top 10. So we've got all the serious NASCAR Busch guys up at the front. Not too many of the young guys today. We haven't seen much of Todd Cleaver or Danny O'Quinn. Mark McFarland, who's got that prestigious DEI car, the number 88, he hasn't shown much today here at California. The only real rookie who's doing a good job seems to be Bernie Lamar, who took on those veterans, Jeremy Mayfield, Kenny Wallace, Paul Menard, and Jay Sauter, and worked his way around in that number 77 car out of the Kevin Harvick stables. Bernie Lamar's a California driver, so he'll be looking to put in a strong run in front of family, friends, sponsors, and the like, as we continue to ride along with Clint Boyer as we see him working the wheel. Very interesting to note how close that huge steering wheel is to the drivers. If you've ever driven an American sedan, I can tell you that they're not the easiest things to drive, and certainly not when they're race cars. You've got a lot of weight there, and the drivers have always said, when people ask us on the internet why the wheel is so close, well, it's very simple. If you hold out your arms straight for that long a time, for 3 hours in a NASCAR race with such a heavy car, you wear out your forearms, you wear out your shoulders, so they like to have that wheel real close so they can actually use their shoulders to bring the car into the corners, and if they have to fight a loose condition, they're actually using more shoulder than they are their hands, their wrists. We can see here as Clint Boyer's having to work the wheel just a little bit. He's a little bit of correction there. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. I've had the occasion to, once in my life, I got to actually drive one of these things. They're a lot of fun, a lot of noise, but believe me, they're not the easiest things in the world. It may look easy, but driving these things, even at 100 miles an hour, is quite a handful for us mere mortals, certainly not race car drivers. But anyway, enough of my rambling on. We're going to send you back to Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry Mack for more of the Stater Brothers 300 live on Motors TV.
We've had a lead change or two. Carl Edwards went to the front. He and Greg Biffle battled side by side for a couple of laps. And then Biffle took command once again as Jeff Burton closed in. The two AmeriQuest cars at the front. I'm told that wasn't a lead change, it was a refinance. And it was funny when I heard it, and now it probably isn't.
Yet it had to have a picture to go with it.
Right.
No picture, no funny.
I tell you what's funny right now to this car right here, Jeff Burton in the 21 car, Greg Biffle and Carl Edwards up there battling each other. As you see, he has caught that group. And he is definitely, the last 4 or 5 laps, he has had the fastest race car out there.
Yeah, by quite a bit, a 41.5 to 41.9.
Dick Berggren.
And Carl Edwards' spotter, Jason Hedleski, has told him all about that number 21 car, and has told him that that 21 car at Burton is best on the bottom, right at the white line. So that's the way Carl Edwards is going to have to defend, if he can at all. You can see Edwards is running up much higher in general than Burton, and Burton is closed right to Edwards' back bumper.
Yeah, the Coast Guard's coming, Carl. Prepare to be boarded.
Yeah, but Darrell, this early in the race, when someone catches you that fast, all you're going to do is use your stuff up more if you try to fight them off.
Yeah, you just got to let him go right now, and you got to make your car better. It's a good time to find out if somebody's a little quicker than you are. It gives you a chance to make your car better. And here's Matt. He just keeps walking through the field.
14th place as he battles Casey Mears.
So in less than 30 laps, he has basically went from about 40th to 14th. But right now, he is about 18.5 seconds, almost 19 seconds behind our leader, Greg Biffle. He's probably going to need a caution to help him out, to close him back up.
To get him back up there to where he can challenge to win. He's going to get a great, obviously got a great car, get a good finish, but he needs to get a caution to catch up.
And we are moving within about 20 laps of that fuel window for a green flag pit stop.
Jack Roush has 2 rookies in this race, Cleaver and O'Quinn, but the 3 veteran Roushketeers run first, second, and now 14th. funny to be talking about Carl Edwards as a veteran when last year he was a rookie. But what a job he's done. Let's talk about fuel mileage. Steve.
And Mike, just listening to Kevin Harvick talking to his crew chief, Wally Rogers, he said, what are you going to do to this race car when I come down to pit? Wally said, I'm thinking about taking air out of the left side tires and a little bit out of the right front. Kevin Harvick said it sounds like a good plan.
Well, and what that will do, that increases just overall grip. You heard Reed Sorensen talking a while ago about car didn't have enough grip. The lower you can put that air pressure, you pay a little price at the beginning of a run, but it helps the grip.
Kind of watching the 05 car back here, Kyle Busch, and he has just got his hands full. And he's been on the wall yesterday, he's been in the wall today, and he's getting ready to possibly visit it again.
He did, definitely scraped it a little bit off turn 2.
I don't know if he knows this or not, but you're not going to move it back. It's going to stay right there.
You can just see the car in a 4-wheel slide. And right now he's back in the 21st position, only about 15 seconds in front of our leaders.
That's pretty good little hit there.
Yeah, he's just having a hard time hanging on to it, obviously. And he has had all weekend. I mean, he's been in the wall like that's the 3rd or 4th time.
Elliott Sadler damaged in the crash on lap 4 that took Mark Green out of the race. Green has been treated or checked and released at the infield care center. Mark Green is okay.
The Coast Guard.
But Sadler a lap down now. And Jeff Burton
makes it look pretty easy, guys.
And about to be the race leader.
I mean, that car was so good off of 4 right there, down underneath Carl Edwards, and he's going to motor right on by.
But now Biffle in the 16 is going to battle back on the high side with Jeff Burton in the 21 car. This is the battle for second. But definitely Carl Edwards' strategy of moving to the bottom of the racetrack paid off for him.
Now, is Biffle working hard to hold him off, Darrell, or is he testing him to try to get an idea of what he might have and what he might do with it later in the race?
I don't think. I think that Jeff's car is just that good off of turn 4 particularly. He's able to come off low and keep it down without bogging it down. Able to make an easy pass right there. I think you'll see him catch up with Carl Edwards do the same thing.
55 laps complete in California. Carl Edwards leading Jeff Burton by a car length.
NASCAR Busch Series on FX presented by Q Motor Oil, sponsored by Q, the heat-activated oil that helps you maximize the power of your engine. Unleash all your horses. And caution is out. Jeff Hammond looks like the 38 car with some problems. That's A.J. Foyt the 4th.
A.J. Foyt the 4th, and he had problems earlier today in qualifying. Had to go to a backup car. This is a brand new car. First time on the racetrack right now for this young man.
Jeff Burton leading on lap 79, bringing out the caution.
Yeah, right now they're talking about having one free pass, and that's going to be, looks like Jason Kelly's going to get a free pass and get to go back up and get on the lead lap.
Now, Greg Biffle has led the most laps here. Carl Edwards, your pole sitter, and no pole sitter has ever won the Busch race here at the California Speedway. But Carl Edwards currently running second.
Way right there back in the middle of 3, I think it's 3 and 4, isn't it? Now it's the back straightaway. It's off of 1 and 2, and you can see like the carmate got away from him, and around it came. He locked it up, turned it left, kept it down off the wall. Now he gets a chance to drive it back around, put 4 brand new tires on this thing, and go some more.
One of the famous names we've talked about, Andretti, John Andretti in this race as well. And we've also talked about Casey Mears, nephew of Rick Mears, 4-time Indy 500 winner, and A.J. Foyt the 4th, the grandson, of course, of also 4-time Indy 500 winner A.J. Foyt.
Yeah, we take a look at these crews right now, getting ready to come back down pit road. Good break there from Matt Kenseth. Gives him an opportunity to get close up to this pack. You know, he had problems early on, had to go to the tail end of the longest line because of that. Well, you know, it may not be any pit stops may go, Chris, but what I'm saying about Matt's situation is at least he gets to gain back up on the leaders, because he was like a half a lap behind these guys. And Larry, you know, that's the only way a lot of times you can get a break with a fast race car is catch a caution.
There's no question. I think we're going to see pit stops here because you take cars like Matt Kenseth's. It's been 15 to 16 laps since he was on pit road. So, yeah, I would definitely say 5 laps past the halfway point of this race, you'll see these cars back on pit road for tires, fuel, and adjustments.
Yeah, I do everything I could right now because then you can think about what am I going to do if this thing goes green and I got to make a green flag stop.
Because at the very least, if you stop now,
we're coming.
If you stop now, you could make the rest of the way on one more stop.
Well, we had a little bit of faking. We had some cars stay out, but we definitely have some cars hitting pit road. Jeff Burton, our leader, stayed out.
Biffle's on pit road. Harvick back there, and here comes Kenseth.
Scott Wimmer is in, along with Brian Vickers and the 25, Ashton Lewis. Steve.
Well, Mike, Matt Kenseth's strategy, just as Darrell Walter mentioned, his mindset, they're going to make big adjustments in wedge and track bar. Matt knows this is going to be a lengthy stop, but he wants to do it now. Matt Yoakum.
And they're making a wedge adjustment for Greg Biffle's number 16 now. He felt like that they were not going the right way as much as he needed. The car gone back to the tight side. They just cannot get it to free up.
I like this strategy. Because now, can you go in one more stop if you have to?
Yeah, everybody's still going to have to make one more stop.
But now these guys have got a little bit of an advantage on fuel, also on tires. They could possibly take 2 if it comes up under green.
There you see Carl Edwards and Newman.
Little fake them and.
I tell you what, if it's me, I'd come in now, do everything I could. I might even think about a shot of gas to win this sucker.
Whatever it takes.
Well, as we're working another caution here today, number 3 of the Stater Brothers 300 for that spin of A.J. Foyt, the 4th, I believe. He's the number 4 in that lineage of motor racing names from the States. We ride along with Clint Boyer as Jeff Burton still leads here today as, yes, we're still in our yellow, working lap 82 with Carl Edwards in tow. Ryan Newman, a little bit of liar's poker there as a couple of cars decided to do a little fake job, stay out on the racetrack. And like the gentlemen were saying, we're going to have at least one more stop. Could be 2. 82 laps in, 83 laps in now. They've got 67 to go. Could be a 2-stop deal here if there's another yellow in 25 or 30 laps or so. But anyway, just like to say a shout out to everyone who's on motorstv.com tonight. We've got a good cast of internet people here tonight. We've got a newcomer. We've got Zoe MW. We've got Stranger. We've got Paul Hadsley, who's a longtime Motors TV viewer. We've got Brendan. We've got Karine. We've got Costas. Quite a few of you folks on the German side. Welcome to the German audience. Glad to have you with us on Motors TV. Big racing community, of course, in Germany with the DTM, with all kinds of endurance racing. Drivers in practically every series in the world. We've even got a German running in the Trans Am Championship from last year that we're showing currently, Klaus Graf, and that gorgeous Jaguar that's been tearing up the racetracks throughout North America. So welcome to the German audience. But still here on Motors TV UK, we're working. It's 10 minutes to 1 in the late evening here. But the diehard motor racing fans are with us on Motors TV, and glad to have you. So as Clint Boyer works his belts and the sun starts to set just a little bit, the lights are coming on at Fontana. Yes, we can see that could be a problem actually as they come into this particular corner. I believe that's turn 2 coming onto the backstretch. No, that's actually turn 4, I believe. That could be a serious problem with vision. They might be putting tape on the windows to block the glare. But anyway, we're going to send you back to DW, Larry Mack, and Mike Joy. Keep watching on Motors.
We've already had 11 lead changes, 6 different leaders. Jeff Burton on top of your scorecard at the moment. It's a big weekend here on the Fox family of networks. Busch Racing from the California Speedway on FX. Tomorrow on Fox, 500 miles. Start your day with Speed, NASCAR Race Day, and close your day with NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed. But on our pre-race show, we'll hear from Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart. Also, Jules performing a music act before the start of the race. That's 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Mike?
Well, the die is cast. The first 12 drivers here did not pit, from Jeff Burton back through Johnny Sauter. They elected to stay out. The rest of the lead lap drivers did pit.
Now, the one thing we want to explain, especially for our new viewers, is you heard Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers talk about the free pass, or you've also maybe heard it called the Lucky Dog Award. Jason Keller in the 1 car got the free pass. For years, when the caution would come out, the way you would get back on the lead lap is race back to the start-finish line. A couple of years ago, for safety reason, NASCAR made a rule that when the caution comes out, the field is automatically frozen in position. But to give cars that are 1 or more laps down an opportunity to get back on the lead lap, when the caution comes out, the first car that's a lap down, that's not on the lead lap, he gets to go all the way around the racetrack and get back on the lead lap and restart the race at the tail end of the longest line. It's the way you can get back on the lead lap now.
Yeah, a lot of guys complain about, well, if you do that, how am I going to get a lap back? Well, they said, we're going to give it to you. You don't have to take the chance now of getting it back. We'll give you that one back.
Well, it's a new season, and we got our traditions.
It's a race in a race, too.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
To get in that position, to get the free pass.
Well, why don't you race real quickly over to surround sound, and you know what we want to do, boys.
We want to crank it up on this restart. Picks up much like it left off. Ryan Newman 39, Jeff Burton 21, and Carl Edwards the 60.
These guys are going at it. It's hard to believe we've still got 65 laps to go in this thing.
5 wide. They come off turn 4. Oh my goodness.
Miles per hour.
That'll be about 180 heartbeats a second, too, I'm telling you. That is some kind of a little wad right there. That's a big wad. It's not a mini wad.
Yes. Eye of the storm. Three wide for the lead.
I tell you what, while these guys are doing this, you see that yellow car right there, J.J. Yaley in the 18 car. He's about to make it a race for 4 for first place.
J.J.'s car seems to be pretty good on the restart. Seems like he can keep up a little while, but he falls off. The other guys keep digging.
Edwards slices to the inside on Jeff Burton, and he will take the lead back.
Burton's trying to do the crossover on him. Stuck that nose down underneath him, can't quite pull it off.
You want to talk about a man on a mission, and he's got 4 fresh tires. Greg Biffle in this 16 car. Matt Yoakum, he has already moved back into the top 10 tonight.
Larry, Mike mentioned how it's a new season, and while a lot of fans are trying to learn the sponsor colors and the different driver changes, so are the drivers. Greg Biffle saw a car pull down the pit in front of him. He wasn't sure if it was one of the leaders because he saw the 39 of Newman pull back out, but he pitted because he thought it was one of the leaders. Well, it wasn't. It was a lap down car who pitted too soon, but it was a good call because they didn't get the car full of fuel on the previous stop. So now they're in a better position fuel-wise, and Newman, like you mentioned, has those 4 fresh, Biffle has those 4 fresh tires trying to chase down those leaders.
But DW, that car is working below the white line. He was on the apron through 3 and 4.
Well, the more cautions you have, the more cars you're going to pull into the chase because they get a chance to adjust on them. So whatever's wrong with it, the guy that's got trouble, he can get it fixed. He'll be very competitive.
There's the separation that Edwards has built on Jeff Burton in just a couple of laps, about 0.4 of a second. Then Newman, there's Yaley in the 18. Jamie McMurray is 5th. And here goes Biffle again, working Clint Boyer. This is for 8th place. 90 down, 60 laps to go in California. Here's our Aqua Velva out of the blue moment. Start of the race, Carl Edwards couldn't hang on to it, nearly trashed the car into the wall. Then he came back to battle back for the lead, which he now holds by 1 second. He came back out of the blue. There's something about an Aqua Velva man. 94 laps complete. Edwards back in command of this race by almost a second over Jeff Burton. Chris Myers can recap for us.
With 14 lead changes, Jeff Hammond and I watching from the Hollywood Hotel. You just mentioned Carl Edwards moments ago, who was the pole sitter. And again, no pole sitter has ever won the Busch race here at the California Speedway. How does he get through this, Jeff?
His dirt track experience right there. He got the bad boy sideways, got it up against the cushion, hung on to her, Chris.
First caution that came out, watch Mark Green in the 4 car bump into Elliott Sadler in the 90. Green, bad news for him. He was okay after going to the care center, but his car out of the race. Elliott Sadler goes a lap down. Meanwhile, Jamie McMurray bringing out another caution, the 64 car. He loses it, but keeps his car from hitting the wall, was battling for second, wound up 4th. And Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle's led the most laps, 42, but Carl recapturing the lead has led now 24 laps and being pursued by Jeff Burton and Newman.
Oh, right now he is the class of the field. We still got better than 55 laps to go and another pit stop, Chris. Car's strong right now, but a lot of these guys, veterans that they are, they may be pacing themselves here with this many laps to go.
All right, let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Carl Edwards on point. His lead now 1 second. Here is Reed Sorensen, who, despite being involved in that accident on lap 4 and getting some right side damage, has battled his way back to 6th.
Yeah, and had a terrible qualifying run earlier today. Started back in 35th. And Steve, right now he's about 6 seconds behind our leader, Carl Edwards.
Yeah, Larry Mack, here's what Reed is saying about his race car. He says he feels like the right rear is doing too much work, digging into the racetrack too much. He wants more front end grip. They made their last stop on lap 67. More front end grip. That's what he wants.
And the thing about it, and you heard Jeff Hammond talking about this, these guys like Reed Sorensen, they're going to have to be to pit road around lap 112 to 115. It's not that many laps away.
This guy right here gets my vote, though. Now, just think about it. He was running up there in 2nd place, spun that bad boy out, didn't hit anything, caught a gear, come back around, got him 4 tires, and there he is running 5th.
Yeah, he may have done the Danny Sullivan, the spin to win, like Sullivan did at Indy. Right in front of them, J.J. Yaley, who is 3.1 seconds off the lead. And that Vigoro Home Depot number 18.
Car seems to be real good on the restart. Then it kind of fades a little bit. Not badly, but a little bit. He can't keep up with the front guys.
But yeah, right now he's a couple of tenths off what our leaders Carl Edwards and Jeff Burton are running on the stopwatch.
About 1.4 seconds ahead of Yaley is 3rd place Ryan Newman. Now Matt Newman pretty much holds station here, 2.5 seconds behind the leaders.
Mike, the issues that Newman's fighting at the beginning of the run, he said the car is not bad. It had better balance on the get-go, just slightly aero tight than back on lap 96. He said it is definitely too tight down in 1 and 2 right now. And he also said the water temperature has climbed to 240. Now you think about Daytona and all the tension that goes on down there. To relieve some tension from Speedway, he and his Nextel Cup team, they played paintball wars on Thursday here in California. Just some fun between he and his Cup guys.
Now, we know that Charger, Larry, is notorious for picking up debris on the grill. He complained about the water temp earlier being about 230. climbed to 240. Baby can't go much higher.
And you can see a lot of little pieces of debris and trash, even some grass on the nose of that race car.
Once she gets up 240 and 250, then it starts spitting water out.
Grass?
Yeah, off of Yaley's car.
Yeah, right.
Guys, this is something that's plagued this Dodge Charger since a year ago when they came out with the nose, was overheating because whenever this debris gets on these front of these grills, the temperature starts going up and they have to pull tape off to compensate.
Yeah, Jeff, they get so aggressive with the tape on the nose because, as you always hear me say, it's like a free lunch with the arrow. Helps the straightaway speed, helps plant the nose of the car, so they get a little aggressive to start the race with the tape. And you can see it looks like they've actually added a piece of tape on a pit stop to the front end of Ryan Newman's number 39 car.
Newman the best Dodge in third. Jeff Burton the best Chevrolet. And this man, Carl Edwards, the best Ford, leading this race by 0.7 of a second. What happened here a lap ago to our leader? Oh.
That's just the way this track is. It just, you get the car, you're under power, you get the nose sliding just ever so slightly. I know that things snap loose, but it's because you got the nose, a lot of wheel into it, power, all of a sudden the back end snaps out.
And you can see how much of that lead he lost, and I guarantee you right now, the speeds are fixed to pick up because the track temperature is coming down.
Just under 50 laps to go. You're watching the NASCAR Busch Series on FX.
Well, with 48 laps left to run here at the Stater Brothers 300, we saw our race leader Carl Edwards just get a little bit squirrely coming off that corner, and in fact Jeff Burton has been able to close the gap up. Jeff's running now just 0.3 of a second off of the back bumper of that Ford of Carl Edwards. Ryan Newman, like Larry Mack was saying, he's just pretty much holding station in third, and J.G. Yeley's running in fourth at about 5 seconds off of our race leader. And he's got Jimmy McMurray, Greg Biffle, Reed Sorensen, Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth, and Clint Boyer, who we're riding along with to deal with as we tick down the laps here late into the evening. It's 2:06 and odd seconds here in France. It's 1 a.m. in the UK, and we're really pleased that everyone's quite lively tonight on the forum. Lots of give and take, lots of interesting comments, a couple of laughs. It's all good here on Motors TV and MotorsTV.com. So we would like to say a big thanks to everyone for sticking with us tonight. We know we had some audio difficulties early on, but they've told me it's all working out. We haven't gotten any nasties on the internet, so I guess you're all listening to us tonight. That's all good news. So once again, we're riding along with Clint Boyer. He's working that number 2 Chevrolet as best he can. He's had not the greatest race in the world, but he's had a decent run here today, and he's found himself up in the top 10. So that's all good for championship points and all that. Is they start looking at the championship. It's a 35-race marathon in NASCAR, but as early as race 1 or race 2, as they said, the NASCAR season really kicks off at Fontana after all the fireworks of Daytona, and even here early on, points are a very, very serious issue in the NASCAR Busch Series. So Carl Edwards, in fact, he's got Jeff Burton. We can't see it on the screen, but Jeff Burton's now close to within 1/10 of a second of the Ford of Carl Edwards, so there could be a battle for the lead in the next lap or two to come. Hopefully that we'll catch that on live TV, and we won't be in a commercial break as that happens. What else can we say? John Andretti, our oldest rookie in the history of motor racing, he's running down in 18th. He's got Michael Walter Bento, a veteran, many-time winner in NASCAR. Of course, Michael Walter's been making news. He left the DEI stables over the winter. In fact, he's running a Dodge this year in his own team, and he'll be one of the 3 factory Toyota teams next year. They're not really factory Toyota teams. We have to be careful in using that, but he will be running the Toyota Camry in the Nextel Cup next year. So he's got a transition season with the Dodge Intrepid or Dodge Charger. I'm not really sure which car he's running, but he's running down in 19th with Casey Mears from the Chip Ganassi team on his back bumper. So lots of stuff to go on. Carl Edwards has built up his lead just a little bit. He's up to 2/10. But anyway, we're going to send you back to DW, Larry Mack, Mike Joy, the whole crew. Enjoy the race.
The NASCAR Busch Series on FX, presented by Q Motor Oil, is sponsored by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series, 25 years running. 106 laps complete, 44 to go. Here in Fontana on this 2-mile D-shaped speedway, and Jeff Burton has not let the 60 of Carl Edwards out of his sight.
And remember, like a lot of cars, these two cars, Carl Edwards in the 60, Jeff Burton in the 21, they'll be to pit road here probably within the next 8 to 10 laps.
Behind them, Ryan Newman third, J.J. Yaley fourth, and Greg Biffle in fifth. And Matt Biffle's about 7 seconds off the lead right now.
Running in that fifth spot now. Mike, back on lap 12, Biffle's Nextel Cup crew chief Doug Richard came on the radio and said to their spotter Joel Edmonds, keep an eye on the grill. You know how this place is with trash on the grill. Let's start watching it from here on out. Now, when we showed Newman's trash on his grill, that's when they asked Biffle, what's your water temperature like? Because the 39 of Newman does have trash on his, and he's got 240 water, and he says, we are okay.
And I think one reason that a lot of these grills are picking up trash, as you saw a while ago when we went to break, the wind has really picked up, and that really just starts twirling stuff around this racetrack, and the race cars pick it up on the front end.
Yeah, and the more the cars move around, like if they run a higher line, they get up there and they start kicking up some of the debris that's built up along the top of the racetrack, too.
Jeff Burton's Coast Guard Chevy has loomed large in the mirror of Carl Edwards ever since the last restart. What did Edwards have to say about that?
Saying about 1.5 back. Take his line away. Can't do anything with you. Tell me if he's entering higher or lower into one. The same. Your tire track. The same as you. The same through the center. A little bit lower there on exit.
Carl Edwards wanting to size up his competition and what line Jeff Burton is running.
I'll tell you a guy that we haven't talked a lot about all day long, but is doing another great job here on the big racetrack is Denny Hamlin in that 20 car. He's sitting there in 8th place. We haven't mentioned him very much today, but he's just lurking back there. I don't think he's got a car that can win this race, but he's right on Reed Sorensen's back bumper there to move into 7th spot.
Hamlin's lap's about 0.3 of a second off that of Carl Edwards. But he is quicker than Sorensen.
And he is focused. I love that. You see the eyes, you got a clear shield, you can see those eyes. Here comes Matt Kenseth on a tear.
Has a little fresher tires on that 17 car than Denny Hamlin in the 20. And then Greg Biffle, who has fresh tires in the 16 car, he just went by J.J. Yaley. This was a battle for 4th position. Again, this is the product of about 12 to 15 lap fresher tires.
One pit stop to go, and then we'll see if anyone besides Jeff Burton and Ryan Newman has anything for those leading Roush Fords. New leader with 35 laps to go. Left of your screen, Jeff Burton takes over the lead because on the right of your screen, Carl Edwards is on pit lane for what he hopes is the last time today. Dick?
And he is pitting earlier than the rest of the leaders, Mike. They're concerned about how much fuel they actually got in the tank on that last stop. You'll recall that the fuel can didn't quite go in properly. They spilled some of it. So this is a bit of a short pit. It could work to his advantage if everybody else to pit after him and there's no caution. Edwards will take off and everybody be behind him. But if there's a caution and everybody else gets a pit under caution, oh dear. Track bar adjustment, 4 tires, fuel. The track bar controls the way the weight rolls around the car.
But guys, Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, all those guys, they can't afford to sit out there too long and let Carl Edwards take advantage of those fresh tires. We know he'll be beating them about a second a lap.
Reed Sorensen's in, Denny Hamlin's in, 1 lap after Edwards. And those are both top 10 cars.
You got to really, really be careful right now when you pit, though, guys.
Steve.
And Reed Sorensen's car, remember a little while ago, Mike, he said it felt like the right rear was digging into the track, doing too much work. The race car has gotten better, no adjustments. 4 tires of gas for Reed Sorensen.
John Wood is on pit road, so is Casey Mears. And here comes Jeff Burton, Matt.
Making his way to his pit stall, Mike. peeling off in. Now, he said the car was aerotight. When he got up close to the 60 of Carl Edwards, look for them to make a track bar adjustment, and they're going to make a small air pressure change as the 47 of John Wood leaves pit road as well.
Jamie McMurray's in for tires and fuel as these green flag stops continue.
I'm okay now. When Carl came on pit road first, man, that makes me nervous because the caution flies and you're out of here.
Steve?
Mike, Jamie McMurray is concerned that you see them rubbing the grill. He was concerned that car's getting a little hot, temperatures up to 250 degrees. They also took a half pound out of the right rear tire.
Tracy Hines pits, and here comes Biffle to the pit lane as well.
And see, we knew Greg Biffle could go quite a ways further than this because of fuel, but again, he couldn't afford to give up that time on those tires.
32 laps to go, Matt.
A little early for Greg Biffle. They planned on waiting a little bit longer, but he thought he might have a tire going down, so they didn't want to take a chance hitting pit road now. Right side's going on. No chassis adjustment. Decent stop so far. You can see the catch cam man saying it is full of fuel. Their stop's done. He's away.
Kyle Busch is in, and Ryan Newman will give up the lead to make this pit stop. Dick?
Talk about changes. They have changed just about everything in Kyle Busch's car to try to make it stick. On the last pit stop, they actually raised the hood of this car and changed the ride height in the nose. But now they seem to have the car running correctly. Problem on the right front. They have to check it again. To Matt.
Dick, the 39 of Newman is in. Now they're going to make an air pressure adjustment, going to shuffle the pressures across the back. Also chassis adjustment. Now Newman, like earlier, tight down in 1 and 2, but he's free down in 3 and 4, but he felt like it's been the best it's been all day dealing with those conditions.
Todd Bodine, J.J. Yaley, and Jay Sauter making green flag pit stops. The leader is now Matt Kenseth in the 17.
Now, Matt Kenseth is one of those cars that pitted under caution at lap 80. He can probably go another 5 to 10 laps, but, Steve, he's going to be giving up about a second lap to the leaders like J.J. Yaley that has 4 fresh tires.
And J.J. Yaley, they made just an air pressure adjustment. As you look at Matt Kenseth, Yaley's been in the top 5 all day.
Let's check with Jeff Hammond.
Well, guys, we're always talking about communication and how important it is. On that pit stop, when the 60 car Carl Edwards came in, we were talking about the fuel situation. Watch the gas man putting the second can in, and all of a sudden, he kicks the tire out of the way. He starts shaking his head. Yeah, full. Letting the jack man know we can go. Letting the crew chief know it's full, guys. We can get out of here.
But what helped that gas man that time, unlike before, Carl Edwards stopped on that block. The gas man went right to the car where the gas hole was.
Curtis Davis, Donnie Neuenberger making their last stops of the day.
Now, Larry, Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. He's got to gamble. He got that penalty. He's been trying to overcome it the whole race. So right now he's sitting out there hoping for a caution that will save him.
Yeah, because right now, until it cycles through, we only have about 14 or 15 cars left on the lead lap. A lot of those cars that he would be racing would be a lap down should the caution come out.
Johnny Sauter completes his stop. A quick one. Steve?
And Mike, just to add on what DW and Larry Mack were saying on Matt Kenseth, remember he pitted on lap 79. Jamie McMurray going for the lead.
No, actually, McMurray's trying to get back on the lead lap right there in the 64 car.
And does. Let's go back.
That's a product of fresh tires versus old tires right there.
Right. Let's check back with Steve.
And Mike, just to follow up on Matt Kenseth, he's saying that his race car is really tight.
Well, it's low on fuel. It's gained all that front percentage, which makes the car tight because it doesn't have the weight in the rear of the car.
I believe the 42 car here, I believe he ran out of fuel, Casey Mears.
He and Clint Boyer are now coming down pit road.
He got on the apron way over on the back.
No, did he already make a stop? Casey
he
Mears
pitted
was in
back
at
on lap 116. Yeah, he was on pit road.
So a problem for Mears, and Boyer gives up second place to pit. Crash on pit road, a spin, a lot of smoke as Michael Waltrip and Scott Wimmer came down pit road. It was not a spin, excuse me. Somebody locked up the brake trying to get down to pit road speed, but an anxious moment there.
Michael came on pit road a little hot, locked up the tires, bunch of smoke, no problem.
Here's Scott Wimmer in the 66 car making his green flag stop.
But you were Matt Kentz's biggest fan right then, Mike, when you called for an accident. And
not intentionally, Darrell. Todd Cleaver's had a great run today. The rookie was 14th when he came to pit road for this stop, and Brian Vickers is in as well.
Go, all the way, all the way.
Wimmer complete service, and you're on the roof cam of Brian Vickers Chevrolet. So Kenseth the leader, Harvick in second, Keller and Andretti Green. Among the previous leaders, the first one is Carl Edwards, who is now in sixth.
Now those top 5 cars you named, they were all cars that pitted on lap 79, lap 80, but they're getting close to having to make that green flag stop themselves. But they're hoping for that caution.
And this late in the race, everybody that hadn't pitted, they're kind of getting on old tires. You got guys on old tires, got guys on new tires. That's when you can have a caution.
We'll be back for what should be the pit stop of those first 5 cars. 25 laps to go. Caution is out at California Speedway with 16 laps to go. Been doing this a long time, Darrell. Seen a lot of things fall off of race cars. Never seen one of these. But first, let's see what happens on pit road.
Well, this is going to be interesting. We're going to get this race restarted with about 12 or 13 laps to go. You look at people like Carl Edwards and Jeff Burton. They've got about 15, 18 laps on their tires. And Carl Edwards comes, but Jeff Burton and Ryan Newman stays out.
That's a lonely feeling. All by myself.
Reed Sorensen is in. The 20 of Denny Hamlin is in. And there are more lead lap cars coming for fresh tires, Matt.
Ryan Newman just said 10-4, we're staying out. And by the way, Carl Edwards just lost the race. He pitted. To Dick, he's coming to you.
It was Carl Edwards' decision to make this pit stop, and he promised crew chief Pierre Cattell that if they put 4 tires on this car, adjusted the track bar, that he would drive the, I can't use that word, off it. So he is going to drive really, really hard because the crew has done what the driver wanted to do. What the driver did not want to have happen, however, was that caution flag. He was very disappointed to see it come out.
Now there was debris in turn 4 to bring out the caution. We're not exactly sure what the debris was, but here's what our cameras found.
And you know what? That's someone's glove. And I'm sure here's exactly what happened. Probably was waving out the window to tell him he was going to pit, and his glove flew off.
Have you considered a career in law?
And his glove flew off. I mean, that's the only way that could have happened.
It flew off.
Yeah.
There may also have been a piece of metal debris elsewhere in turn 4.
Oh, he was waving. I'm coming in.
We'll be back.
That glove flew off.
Well, that definitely was a first. A race car driver's glove coming off to bring out a yellow flag. Could be some interesting discussions around the NASCAR truck. We're going to listen to the crew. Remember, talk to Clint Boyer here.
16th or 17th, probably. Time we go green here, Clint. It's going to be about 13 to go. So.
So Clint Edwards has gotten his instructions. There's 13 laps left to run. He's going to be looking to place as high as he can. He needs to get some points. He's looking for a championship this year. He's doing double duty, of course, in Nextel and in the NASCAR Busch. So he's a very busy guy. So he'll be happy when this race is over. He's got a full schedule. He's got a race to run tomorrow as well. So anyway, getting back to that glove discussion, it's not the first time something squirrely has happened in NASCAR racing where things have all of a sudden flown out of a window to throw a yellow flag. I remember some years back a very similar situation happening. In fact, that driver was penalized. So could be repercussions for that particular incident, or it could have just been, things happen. That's racing. But anyway, as we wind down the laps, we're all getting just a little punch drunk here. It's 1:30 in the morning. Jeff Burton leads from Greg Biffle, Ryan Newman, Jimmy McMurray, and J.G. Yeley. Look for those 5 to put on one hell of a dash to the line, so to speak, a good old-fashioned bullring shootout. It's not really a bullring. This is a 2-mile high-banked super speedway that we're running on here today. It speeds of about 180 miles an hour, so it could get really, really exciting, especially when you've got characters like Greg Biffle running up at the front. Jamie McMurray, he's no slouch either. Ryan Newman, he's a pretty clean customer, but he's known to mix it up from time to time. We could have one of those infamous green-white checkers. Matt Kenseth's running 6. Watch out for Matt Kenseth. He could end up very easily putting that Ford number 17 in victory lane today. So, as the clock winds down, in just a few seconds, we'll be sending you back to Fox Sports. They've done a great job today. Very good on the interviews. Their pit reporters are up and down the pit lane getting us the latest information on how cars are running, what drivers need to do, if they're happy with one another out there. It'll be interesting to see if there's any dealings going on, if anyone's going to try to hook up with another team to try and push their way up towards the front with just the 12 laps or so left to be run. But if I was a betting man, and I'm not, I would be looking for Greg Biffle to power his way around his former teammate Jeff Burton and put another Roush, put the Roush name once again in the victory books at the California Speedway. Anyway, we're going to go back for the final laps. Stick with motors.
We'll go back to green in one lap with 12 to go in the Stater Brothers 300. John Andretti got the free pass, which will give us 19 cars on the lead lap. Michael Waltrip sawing the wheel back and forth. Now, he is not wearing blue gloves, so that wasn't his. And it wasn't Brian Vickers. We checked. He has both gloves. And it wasn't Kenny Wallace. We had a view that showed Wallace had both gloves. And it wasn't the 20 of Denny Hamlin. Who among our in-cars has blue gloves? We'll get there in a second. Kyle Busch, 2 gloves, black and white. And it wasn't Clint Boyer.
So it was none of our boys.
Okay.
I guess it'll be like after the race if it doesn't fit.
Well, now let's set the stage with Carl Edwards in the 60 car. He's going to restart this race in 10th. He has about 10 less laps on his tires. He has brand new tires. But see, because of the double file restart, he's going to restart in 20th. That's going to be the problem.
Yeah, but the worst thing that's happened to Carl is he pulled that off once before. Told him give him 4 tires, he'd win the race. I think it was Charlotte or somewhere. And you get that in your mind that you can do it every time. Pretty hard to do.
And his best friends were the other cars on the lead lap that also pitted that will restart behind him.
Yeah.
Jeff Burton is the new leader. Burton's Chevy, Greg Biffle's Ford, Ryan Newman's Dodge are the first 3. Then McMurray, Yaley, Kenseth, Boyer, Vickers, Harvick is back under green.
And what those front guys are trying to do is clear that inside line before they get to turn 1. And all of those guys are pretty much on the same agenda of tires.
12 laps to go.
3 wide.
Ooh,
3 wide over
contact.
there. Ooh, yeah, 3 wide.
Kyle Busch right in the middle of it. Matt?
And Greg Biffle told his team it seems like his car just gets better and better. Like at the beginning of the race, he's not sure if it's just the fact that they've tweaked on it or the fact that the weather has changed so much. And he also made a comment that, look, don't count out my teammate Carl Edwards just yet. That's only what, about 1 car a lap?
No. Hey, Matt, how about 5 in 1 turn?
There you go, D.
He's already up to like the 7th or 8th spot. He got by a whole wad of them over there on the outside.
And right now he's about 2 seconds behind this battle for the lead between Jeff Burton in the 21, Ryan Newman in the 39, and now Greg Biffle in the 16 to the inside of Newman.
3 packs of cars up toward the front. Edwards has cleared the 3rd pack, but these 3 are driving away from the field, and they're going to be tough to catch with just 10 laps to go this time.
Here he comes around the outside, but that's a lap car of Michael up on the back of the 27 car.
David Green gives him lots of room.
They're giving him room, and he is going to town.
But is 10 laps enough time?
If he pulls this off, that's going to be incredible.
Yes, it will be.
I never thought it. I wouldn't even have given him a prayer of a chance.
He's flying through the field, Darrell, but his last lap was 0.2 of a second slower than that of race leader Jeff Burton.
It is, but he passed 5 cars doing it, so he's coming. Here he comes on the outside again, on the outside of Kenseth.
Leader.
Battle for the lead.
Biffle. Woo! Slam the door! Slam the door on Jeff Burton.
He didn't even say excuse me.
9 to go. Be smooth. Hit your mark.
9 laps to go, and you see that black car back there coming into the picture as well. Jamie McMurray in the 64 car.
Looks like the 21 car, he's not very good right now. He's sideways off the 2 over there, and here comes Newman underneath him.
Ryan Newman for second, as Carl Edwards works his way to 5th past J.J. Yaley.
Cousin Carl is on the gas.
This time 8.
Newman sets sail on Greg Biffle, the race leader. You come to California, don't bet against Biffle.
And I'm going to tell you what, Greg Biffle has just set sail on these boys out there.
And that includes tomorrow in the Auto Club 500 presented on Fox by Q Motor Oil.
Oh, there's no
His
question
run.
about it. He likes this joint.
And it likes him.
And that time, Carl Edwards was 1/10 of a second faster than leader Greg Biffle. But right now, he's over 2 seconds behind him with 8 to go.
It's nice, but it's not enough.
But with all these cars wadded up back here, man, if we had a quick caution, green, white checker, look out.
A caution would be Carl Edwards' friend.
You wearing both your gloves? Good. Matt.
I got a spare in my pocket.
Mike Burton's falling back. He says the car is just so loose right now he can barely hang on to it. He's not sure if he has a tire going down or what, but that's the issue with the 21.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong with him, Matty, because he just kept getting past, and the car looked terrible, and it's been looking really good up to now.
Now that time, Greg Biffle in the 16, Carl Edwards in the 60 running 5th. Identical times with 7 to go. This is the problem. He has fresh tires, but he's got 3 cars in between him and leader Greg Biffle.
And they're good cars.
Yes, they are.
Dick Berggren.
Carl Edwards just came on the radio, said it's getting tight, Mike. The chassis is not what he needs.
He may get 4th here, Dick, from McMurray, but Jamie's putting up a hard fight on the outside. He's got that momentum.
Yeah, but Carl's got that grip, and he can drive it on down in there under Jamie. Stay in the gas a little bit longer. Now he's good to go.
There is the lead that Biffle has over Newman. It's about 1.5 seconds. Burton holding 3rd. McMurray, Edwards, then Kenseth, Yaley, Harvick, Vickers, and Reed Sorensen 10th.
5 to go this time by.
All of the top 10 are drivers you will see tomorrow in the Nextel Cup race here.
5 to go. 5 to go. Us and Edwards there, Eddie.
Without a caution, Carl's going to come up a little straight. That's one of those things that you always say, well, wonder what would happen if he'd have stayed out.
Now Carl Edwards in the 60 just drove by Jeff Burton in the 21 on the outside coming off turn 2. He's up to 3rd.
Clear, all clear.
You know, the thing about this, no one has held him up. Probably Jamie McMurray's racing harder than anybody. Most everybody just pretty much got out of his way.
4 to go this time.
I think he might be able to get 2nd. And maybe that's the best he could have done anyway.
Was 2.6 seconds back a lap ago from Greg Biffle. No change. Well, it is a change. Excuse me. He's still 2.7. No gain.
Yeah, because he lost a little ground passing Jeff Burton when he had to go to the high side.
Same thing, 15 to the 39, another 10 to the 60.
Once you clear all those cars that he was racing with, actually they can be a help to him because you get a little draft off of him. Now he's just pushing there all by himself. He's got to get closer to Ryan Newman before he can really think about passing him, getting some help with the draft. You do get a little draft here.
3 laps to go for Greg Biffle. Biffle's last 3 races here. He won the Cup race here last February, and here last September he was runner-up in both the Busch and the Nextel Cup race.
He loves this type of racetrack, whether he's in Nextel Cup or in
Still
the
no
Busch
pressure,
Series.
15 to the 39, another 7 to the 60. 2 to go when you get here.
Here are the first driver in this race you won't see in tomorrow's Cup race. What a great ride for rookie driver Todd Cleaver in the Roush 06. He's in 12th place. Trying to hold off Johnny Sauter. And here at 8th place, or 9th place, Brian Vickers with Denny Hamlin in the 20 and Reed Sorensen the 41. That's the rest of the top 10 with 2 laps to go.
Well, if he can get back across the start-finish line here off turn 4, no problems around the racetrack, cake's all dough.
60. One to go when you get here, one to go.
I think the question is going to be, can Carl Edwards catch Ryan Newman for that second spot with just a little over a lap to go?
He was 6/10 behind Newman with 1 to go and was running 2/10 of a second quicker.
He's close enough now to get a little sniff. He's going to get him.
White flag right here, white flag.
He's really,
nice and easy.
it's going to come up on him hard now that he's right close enough to get some help.
And can Matt Kenseth get Jamie McMurray? Same situation. Back there for 5th place.
It's going to be a drag race off turn 4 between Edwards and Newman.
I guarantee you, Carl Edwards, he'll drive it down into turn 3. He got a good run off turn 2 that last time at the end of the backstretch. He's going to go to the high side, see if he can get the run off turn 4, Newman to the low side.
Good job today, guys. Struggled in the pits a little bit, but we made up for it.
Here comes Carl to the bottom. It's going to be real close.
Not quite.
Newman. Hello, Newman.
Newman hangs on for 2nd.
Great effort by Carl, though.
Jeff Burton, things held together for Burton to finish 4th, and Jamie McMurray held off Matt Kenseth to finish 5th.
Now this was the run Carl Edwards got up high off of turn 4, tries to do the crossover, gets away from Ryan Newman on the front straightaway, but Newman in the 39 had that momentum, beats him back to the start-finish line. If the start-finish line had been down close to turn 1, Carl Edwards would have probably beat him down there.
Carl got a run down the hill. He got a really good run off that corner.
You know what we've just done? We've just had the first race of the year in ARCA, IROC, the Trucks, Busch, or Cup that has ended without a caution flag or a green-white checker overtime.
I knew we'd get it right.